Have you ever wished for a copilot that not only answers your questions but also completes tasks for you? Let me introduce you to Copilot Studio, where actions transform your AI agent into your personal assistant. In this video, we're diving into how you can harness the power of actions to automate workflows, from sending emails to fetching database insights, all without a single line of code. What makes Copilot Studio unique? Building artificial intelligence agents is often seen as something reserved for developers with detailed technical knowledge or teams with big budgets. But if you're someone without coding skills or technical expertise, the process can feel almost impossible. Many traditional tools rely heavily on complex coding or require expensive resources, leaving beginners stuck at square one. That's the challenge that Copilot Studio is designed to solve. Copilot Studio stands out because it's a low-code platform intentionally designed to make AI accessible not just for developers but for anyone. It's created with ease of use in mind, offering tools that simplify even the most complex aspects of AI creation. Instead of wrestling with intimidating programming languages or hiring outside expertise, users can simply describe their needs in plain language. Copilot Studio does the rest by automatically generating an AI agent to match those needs. This streamlined approach removes the typical barriers to entry and puts the power of AI creation directly into your hands. Here's an example of how this works in a real-world scenario. Imagine you work in human resources and need a way to answer common employee questions about benefits, time-off policies, and onboarding processes. Traditionally, you might need IT support to build a chatbot or invest in third-party solutions. But with Copilot Studio, you can set up an HR support agent in a matter of minutes. All you need to do is describe the kind of help you want the agent to provide, like answering employee questions from your HR policies, and the system does the rest. It creates an interactive functional agent that connects to your own data sources, such as a SharePoint site or internal documents. The result? A resource that's ready to help your employees without requiring hours of manual setup or expertise. What makes Copilot Studio even more powerful is how its key components, instructions, knowledge, and actions work seamlessly together. Each of these elements plays a specific role in making your agent effective. Instructions define the boundaries and behavior. Knowledge provides the data and context for accurate answers, and actions allow the agent to perform tasks on your behalf. For example, the HR agent we mentioned earlier could refer directly to your company's specific policies via knowledge sources and then send follow-up emails or notifications using actions. These components are designed to enhance one another, delivering results that go beyond simple question and answer functionality. This ability to combine simplicity with functionality is what makes Copilot Studio a game changer. It's specifically designed for people who don't code but still need tools to streamline their workflows. This isn't just about making AI creation easier. It's about making it accessible to everyone. Whether you're part of a small team looking for productivity boosts or an individual aiming to solve a niche problem, Copilot Studio is built to meet those needs without requiring you to learn how to program. Now that you see the big picture, let's break it down into the components that make it so powerful. Instructions: setting your agent's guardrails. How do you ensure your AI agent behaves exactly the way you want it to? This is one of the key challenges when creating AI agents, especially for beginners. Inconsistent behavior or unexpected responses are common issues that can undermine the trust and usefulness of any AI system. That's why Copilot Studio puts such a strong emphasis on instructions. Think of them as the foundation of your agent's behavior, a set of guidelines that dictate how your agent interacts with users, handles queries, and responds in different scenarios. Instructions work as guardrails to keep your agent aligned with your intended goals. They allow you to define details like tone, behavior, and even how the agent handles situations where it doesn't have enough information to answer a question. Without this structure, AI agents can stray into responses that feel off-brand, unhelpful, or even incorrect. For instance, without clear instructions, an agent could switch between levels of formality or provide overly vague answers, leaving users confused and frustrated. Instructions eliminate this unpredictability by ensuring that the agent knows the exact boundaries within which it operates. A good example of how instructions work is in an IT help desk scenario. Let's say you're setting up an agent to support employees with tech-related issues. By customizing the instructions, you can shape the agent's personality and communication style to match your organization's expectations. For instance, you could instruct the agent to keep a professional tone while being friendly and approachable. You might also specify that it should use concise bullet points to break down complex topics clearly. This means that when employees interact with the agent, they're met with responses that are easy to follow, yet maintain a professional standard. Whether it's troubleshooting a password issue or guiding someone through setting up a new device, the agent operates within well-defined parameters. The flexibility of instructions also stands out. You're not just specifying what the agent should say, you're also defining how it should handle gaps in its knowledge. For example, you could instruct it to respond with, "I'm sorry, I don't have that information at the moment, but I can direct you to someone who can help." This prevents the agent from hallucinating answers or guessing, ensuring it always provides reliable, accurate outputs. Especially in scenarios where precise information is critical, like HR or healthcare queries, this level of control helps maintain trust and effectiveness. Instructions become even more powerful when combined with other components in Copilot Studio, like knowledge sources. If instructions act as the behavioral guide, knowledge sources serve as the factual base your agent draws from. Together, they ensure that the agent not only behaves in the way you want, but also provides answers rooted in accurate and relevant data. For example, you might instruct the agent to rely solely on a designated SharePoint site for answers about HR policies, ensuring it doesn't pull from unrelated or generalized knowledge. This interaction between instructions and knowledge guarantees consistent, reliable performance that stays within defined boundaries. Another benefit of instructions is their adaptability to specific organizational needs. For instance, suppose you're deploying an agent for external customer support. You could instruct it to adopt a warmer, more conversational tone to make the interaction feel approachable and human-like. On the other hand, for an internal agent like a financial operations assistant, you might prefer a more formal and detail-oriented tone, emphasizing accuracy and clarity. This ability to fine-tune how the agent communicates ensures it aligns with the context in which it operates, whether that's a high-stakes corporate environment or a casual help desk interaction. One thing to keep in mind is that writing effective instructions requires a bit of planning up front. The more specific and descriptive you can be, the better. For example, if you simply tell the agent to answer questions clearly, the result might not fully meet your expectations. Instead, you could specify, "Respond in a professional tone," using short sentences and clear formatting, such as bullet points for technical topics. This level of detail gives the agent clear boundaries to work within, minimizing the chances of it providing inconsistent responses or deviating from your intended style. Let's take another real-world example. Imagine you're creating an HR agent designed to support employees with questions about benefits and company policies. To make the agent feel like part of your team, you could include instructions that clarify how it should sound and engage with users. Perhaps you wanted to greet employees by first name, provide empathetic responses if someone mentions a concern, and avoid using overly technical language. Additionally, you can instruct it to seamlessly redirect the user to a live HR representative when specific policy details or personal data are involved. By crafting these detailed instructions, you ensure that your HR agent not only provides useful answers, but also fosters a positive interaction that reflects your company's values. This process of setting instructions also allows you to think ahead about potential edge cases. For example, what happens if an agent runs into a question that isn't covered by your knowledge sources? Without clear guidelines, it might attempt to guess, or worse, provide a misleading response. With Copilot Studio, you can address this by including fallback instructions such as, if the requested information is not found, state that you can't answer at the moment and offer to escalate the issue for further assistance. These guardrails ensure that your agent never steps out of bounds or risks misinforming its users. Even for more casual agents, instructions are invaluable. Suppose you're building an agent to support customers on your e-commerce site. You might want it to adopt a friendly, enthusiastic tone that reflects your brand's identity. Simple additions to the instructions, like use exclamation points sparingly but add emojis where appropriate to keep it lighthearted, will ensure all interactions feel aligned with your company's voice. And if there's a promotional event happening, like a seasonal sale, you could even temporarily update the instructions to include reminders about discounts or free shipping offers. This ability to adapt on the fly adds another layer of functionality, making your agent a dynamic tool rather than a static piece of software. The bottom line is clear. Reliable AI behavior starts with well-defined instructions They establish the agent's personality, ensure it stays on brand, and most importantly, prevent it from straying into unhelpful or irrelevant responses. By providing detailed guidelines about tone, behavior, and fallback strategies, you can create agents that are not only smarter but also better at meeting user expectations. But where does your agent actually get its answers from? That's where knowledge sources come in. Knowledge sources fueling your agent with data. What's the secret to making your AI agent smarter and more accurate? It all comes down to the data it uses. This data is known as knowledge sources, and it's the foundation of every response your agent provides. Without well-managed knowledge sources, even the most advanced AI can struggle with accuracy, relevance, and overall usefulness. Ensuring your AI consistently discovers and delivers the right information requires the thoughtful selection and clear configuration of these sources. Knowledge sources in Copilot Studio are critical because they are where your agent gets its answers. Instead of relying on general or vague information, the platform allows you to attach specific data sources that the AI will use. These sources might include SharePoint websites, public web pages, Dataverse tables, or other structured data systems. Each connected source provides unique context, so the AI knows exactly where to look for answers when users have questions. This enables your agent to move beyond guesswork and deliver precise, actionable information. For example, let's say you're creating an agent for HR purposes. One of the most common employee questions might be about benefits. Things like how much vacation time they have or what their health plan covers. To make sure the agent provides accurate answers, you can connect a SharePoint site that holds your HR policies and documents. The site could include detailed guidelines on benefits and even pre-approved FAQs that employees commonly ask. By linking this site as a knowledge source, the AI gains access to all of this information and automatically uses it to respond. This means employees don't just get generic HR speak, they get clear, company-specific insights based on the real data you've provided. However, simply connecting a source isn't enough to produce high-quality answers. Providing detailed descriptions for each knowledge source is just as important. These descriptions act as prompts, guiding the AI to understand what the data contains and how it should be used. For instance, if you have a SharePoint site that stores HR-related documents, your description might say, this site contains all employee benefits policies, including time-off guidelines, insurance details, and contact info for HR staff. This extra piece of context directs the AI to focus on this source specifically for HR questions, reducing the risk of irrelevant responses. This need for clear descriptions becomes even more important when your agent has multiple knowledge sources connected at once. Without proper descriptions, the AI might struggle to determine which source to prioritize. For example, if you have one data source dedicated to employee benefits and another focused on payroll, an unclear configuration might cause mix-ups. The AI could end up using the wrong source and inadvertently answer benefits-related questions with payroll data or vice versa. By carefully describing each source, you help the system draw the right connections and pick the most appropriate knowledge source for any given query. Another challenge users face is reliance on general knowledge by default. General knowledge is when the AI uses information from its underlying training data to answer questions rather than relying strictly on the knowledge sources you've provided. While this can work in some general use scenarios, it often leads to issues in specialized domains or internal use cases. For example, an HR agent might give a textbook definition of maternity leave instead of referring to your company's personalized policy. To avoid problems like this, it's recommended to disable general knowledge when setting up internal agents. That way, the AI focuses exclusively on the custom knowledge sources you've connected, improving reliability and making responses more relevant to your organization. Within Copilot Studio, this customization includes options to connect a range of supported sources. SharePoint is one of the most versatile tools here, often used for organizational data like HR policies, safety guidelines, or team collaboration notes. However, there are specific ways to configure SharePoint effectively. Start by getting the URL of the site you want to use and provide it without the HTTPS portion. For example, instead of pasting the full link, trim it to the first level, such as mycompany.sharepoint.com/HR. This ensures the AI knows the full breadth of documents available without extra processing issues. Remember, though, that the AI only has access to data your users have permission to see. Underlying permissions in SharePoint remain intact, adding an important layer of security for internal or sensitive use cases. Another best practice when working with SharePoint is to understand the file types that work best. Word documents, PDFs, and PowerPoint decks are all well supported by the AI because their formats are structured for easy text extraction and indexing. However, Excel spreadsheets tend to be unreliable. The AI struggles with extracting meaningful data from spreadsheets, often due to the way rows, columns, and formulas are represented. If critical information is stored in Excel, it's better to move it into a structured database like Dataverse, or retrieve the data through an automation process. Copilot Studio offers actions for handling these tasks, ensuring your data is still accessible when needed. If you want to improve how your agent handles multiple data sources, there's one feature you'll want to pay attention to: Generative AI orchestration. This feature is currently in preview and helps the AI better understand the intent behind a question. With this understanding, the AI decides which knowledge source to use for the most accurate response. For instance, an employee could ask a complex question about paternity leave that overlaps with both benefits and leave policies. Generative AI orchestration enables the agent to interpret what the user is really asking, find the related concepts across sources, and select the most relevant information. This ensures that users receive comprehensive answers, even in scenarios where the line between knowledge sources might blur. Tying into this is vector indexing, another advanced capability for managing knowledge sources. Vector indexing works by assigning numerical values to words based on their meanings, allowing the system to recognize semantic relationships between terms. For example, suppose paid time off appears in some documents while PTO is used in others. A basic keyword search might miss this connection, but with vector indexing, the AI understands that both terms refer to the same concept. This leads to more accurate and nuanced answers, especially for organizations where specific terminology or jargon might vary. For SharePoint users, enabling vector indexing can transform how the AI interacts with your data. With Microsoft 365 Copilot integration, provided you have at least one license in your tenant, the system can process your SharePoint sites and documents with a deeper level of understanding. This type of indexing boosts the quality of responses, making your agent better equipped to handle subtle differences in phrasing or context. Implementing these tools can significantly improve the agent's performance, ensuring it uses the right knowledge source at the right time. Let's revisit the HR agent example to show how these elements work together. You've already connected a SharePoint site dedicated to benefits as one knowledge source. Now, let's say you want to add another source containing onboarding workflows for new employees. By properly describing each source, such as benefits policies and FAQs for the first and onboarding processes for new hires for the second, the AI can distinguish between them. If an employee asks, "What do I need to complete onboarding?" the system pulls details from the onboarding workflows rather than confusing the question with benefits-related content. But what happens if both sources might apply to the question? This is where generative AI orchestration and vector indexing come together. The AI could recognize that onboarding forms sometimes include a section on health benefits, analyze both sources, and piece together a response that describes how to complete the form while also noting the related benefits package. This type of detailed and contextually accurate answer is far beyond what simple Q&A bots can achieve, making your agent a genuinely capable assistant. As you can see, knowledge sources aren't just about plugging in data and hoping for the best. They're about creating a robust foundation for your AI agent, setting it up to succeed by giving it the exact tools and guidance it needs to process and retrieve information successfully. A well-chosen knowledge source, paired with clear descriptions and effective indexing, makes the difference between an agent that delivers and one that frustrates users. Now that your agent has guardrails and data to work with, it's time to take its abilities to the next level. What if it didn't just answer questions, but could also complete tasks for you? That's where actions come in. Actions turning your agent into a doer. How can your AI agent go beyond just answering questions to actively completing tasks? This is where Copilot Studio's Actions feature changes the game. Actions enable your agent to perform tasks on your behalf, making it more than just a source of information. It becomes a doer. For anyone who has worked with traditional AI tools, the inability to move from passive answers to actionable results can be a source of frustration. Actions solve that problem, allowing your agent to automate workflows like sending emails, retrieving data, or updating records seamlessly. Imagine an agent that doesn't just acknowledge a customer's inquiry, but actively resolves it. For instance, an e-commerce agent could retrieve an order's tracking details from your database and then send an automatic follow-up email to update the customer about their delivery status. This isn't just about efficiency, it's about creating a more responsive and reliable user experience. And with Copilot Studio, building these kinds of task-oriented capabilities doesn't require specialized coding skills or working with an external team. The Actions feature is accessible and straightforward, designed to make automation easy for beginners and professionals alike. Let's look more closely at how it works. Actions can integrate with various systems, including pre-built connectors, Power Automate flows, and APIs, to enable a wide range of automated tasks. For example, you could configure your agent to update CRM records after processing user-related input, keeping your customer relationship data accurate and up-to-date. You also have the flexibility to tailor these actions by defining their inputs and outputs based on your specific needs. This customization ensures that the actions align with your existing workflows, making them effective for various use cases. The process of creating an action is relatively simple. Let's break it down using a practical example. Suppose your company gets frequent inquiries about product availability. Instead of manually searching inventory each time, you could create an action that automates the process. First, the agent would prompt the user to specify the product or SKU. Next, it would query your inventory database using that input to check availability. Finally, the agent would deliver a clear result to the customer, such as, "Yes, this item is in stock at our warehouse," or "Unfortunately, this item is currently back-ordered." This entire exchange, which might involve several steps if done manually, can be completed automatically in seconds using Copilot Studio's actions. What makes actions even more practical is how well they integrate with other tools. Let's take Power Automate as an example. You can set up flows in Power Automate to connect with external data sources such as Excel Online or SharePoint, and use those flows as part of your action. For instance, an agent working in a customer service context might use Power Automate to look up complaint histories from an Excel table and deliver the results back to the agent for guiding the next steps. This not only speeds up the resolution process, but also ensures that users interacting with the agent receive relevant and accurate responses. Here's another scenario that highlights the value of actions: retrieving real-time data through APIs. Think of an agent designed to provide weather updates. You could integrate an MSN Weather API, allowing the agent to pull current forecasts based on user-provided locations. If a user types, "What's the weather like in New York?" the agent would process the input, send it to the API, and return a well-formatted answer such as, "It's currently 72 degrees and sunny in New York." This type of real-world functionality demonstrates just how versatile actions are and how they allow agents to provide more than static responses. They can deliver dynamic situation-dependent results. Customization is another important strength of actions. Every action you create in Copilot Studio can have specific parameters that determine how it behaves. You might want your agent to handle sensitive questions differently or prioritize certain outputs based on the context of your workflow. For example, let's return to the e-commerce agent scenario. If a customer asks about their order status, the response could vary depending on how far the order has progressed. For orders still in processing, the agent might display a message like, "Your order is being prepared and will ship soon," while for shipped orders, it could deliver tracking information. These specific scenario-based behaviors create a smoother, more intuitive experience for both users and agents. This level of customization isn't limited to predefined workflows. If your processes require unique or highly tailored tasks, you can also build actions using custom APIs. By leveraging your existing APIs, your agent can tap into proprietary systems tailored to your organization. For instance, if your sales team uses a CRM system to manage leads, your agent could analyze incoming inquiries, access lead data through the CRM API, and suggest the next best action for the sales representative to take. This increases both efficiency and accuracy, ensuring that every system and process works in harmony. Let's talk about an example from the sales world to see how this plays out. A sales agent created in Copilot Studio could monitor incoming leads and assess them according to predefined guidelines. For high-priority leads, it might send an automatic notification to the sales representative, directing them to focus on closing the deal. For lower-priority leads, the agent could initiate an automatic email reply, funneling the prospect into a nurture campaign. Combined with CRM integration, this process ensures that sales professionals spend their time on the opportunities that matter most, without losing track of smaller potential deals in the background. By shifting from static responses to active workflows, actions transform the role of AI agents entirely. These aren't passive bots waiting to answer questions. They're active assistants working behind the scenes and alongside users. In the sales agent example mentioned earlier, the ability to automate notifications or suggest next steps gives teams extra bandwidth to focus on strategy rather than routine tasks. And this doesn't just apply to sales. Whether your team is in HR, finance, IT, or customer service, actions can enhance how you work by automating repetitive processes and improving overall output. This brings us to the importance of streamlining workflows across departments. Many businesses rely on siloed systems where data and processes don't interact seamlessly. Through the integration capabilities of Actions, Copilot Studio connects these silos and creates a unified flow of automation. In one department, you might have a task where a repetitive email communication consumes hours each week. Using an action, you can design an agent to respond within seconds, freeing your team for more creative or value-driven tasks. The time savings alone translate into significant increases in operational efficiency, but the added layer of reliability makes these kinds of automations even more appealing. We've covered automation and customization, but one of the most exciting features of Actions is how they combine with Copilot Studio's generative AI capabilities. With intent recognition and context awareness built in, your agent can seamlessly decide when and how to execute an action without requiring explicit user commands. For instance, at a tech support desk, users might simply describe a problem, such as, "I can't connect to the VPN." Without needing to be prompted further, the agent could initiate an action to check network diagnostics and notify the IT team of the issue if it can't resolve it directly. This effortlessness broadens the scope of what AI agents can accomplish and removes barriers that might complicate the user experience. Ultimately, actions are the key feature that separates Copilot Studio from other tools on the market. They don't just answer queries, they perform tasks that lighten your workload, from sending emails to retrieving data from complex systems. These automated processes simplify daily operations. What's more, their ability to adapt to specific user requirements makes them a core component of productivity transformations in any business. In Copilot Studio, automation isn't limited to what's pre-built. Whether you're connecting to mainstream tools like Power Automate or building custom workflows via APIs, Actions give you the flexibility to craft solutions that seamlessly align with your organization's unique processes. You can even combine actions in creative ways to handle multi-step workflows that previously required manual input. For example, a sales agent might analyze a prospect's last interaction, pull recent purchase data, and use that information to send a scheduled follow-up with personalized recommendations. These workflows don't just eliminate repetitive tasks, they actively improve how users experience your business. What makes all of this revolutionary is that it's accessible. Instead of dedicating months to build and optimize automations through traditional development channels, Copilot Studio allows non-technical users to create powerful, task-oriented agents in a matter of hours or days. This opens the door for teams of all sizes to take advantage of AI without needing specialized skills or massive budgets. By turning your AI agent into a doer, Actions in Copilot Studio let you offload repetitive work, create new efficiencies, and build smarter ways to interact with systems and users. It's not just automation, it's active assistance that works with you to boost productivity. Now let's explore how you can quickly get started with pre-built templates. Pre-built templates, a jumpstart for beginners. What's the fastest way to create your first AI agent in Copilot Studio? For beginners, starting from scratch can feel daunting, especially if you have little experience building AI tools or automating workflows. Fortunately, Copilot Studio offers pre-built templates that are thoughtfully designed to eliminate the hardest part of the process, the initial setup. These templates act as a valuable starting point, allowing users of any experience level to quickly create functional AI agents for common use cases. They're pre-configured with essential settings like instructions and connectors, so instead of figuring out how to design everything from scratch, you can jump straight into customizing your agent to fit your exact needs. One of the biggest challenges for beginners is knowing how to structure an AI agent in a way that works efficiently and provides accurate results. Without prior knowledge, it often takes a lot of trial and error to figure out the right combination of actions, knowledge sources, and instructions. This is where pre-built templates shine. Each template is purpose-built for a specific scenario, making it easier to get started with your first project. Whether your goal is to assist employees through an IT help desk, create an HR support agent, or streamline sales processes, these templates cut down on the setup time and take a lot of the guesswork out of building an effective AI agent. Let's explore a few of these templates to see what's possible. One of the most popular options is the IT Help Desk template. This template is built to handle common IT-related support questions, such as resetting passwords or troubleshooting connectivity issues. It comes pre-configured with a name, description, and detailed instructions mapped out to guide the agent's behavior. Additionally, it can be linked to a variety of platforms, including ServiceNow, which many organizations use as their IT management hub. For example, your agent can be integrated with a ServiceNow system to create and manage IT tickets. As users interact with the agent, asking about specific issues, the agent can automatically log relevant support tickets and respond with updates as they progress. This automated workflow reduces repetitive tasks for IT teams and speeds up responses for employees. Another useful option is the HR system template. Many organizations struggle with managing employee inquiries about benefits, time-off policies, or onboarding processes. The HR template addresses this by allowing you to create a Copilot specifically designed for internal use. It connects seamlessly to a SharePoint site with HR documents including policy manuals, forms, and FAQs. For added security, this template includes user authentication, so only authorized employees can access sensitive information. This ensures that private or confidential data is protected, making it ideal for organizations that prioritize security and compliance. However, it's important to note that the HR template is not suited for public-facing agents as it requires authentication credentials, meaning it's specifically intended for internal audiences. The great thing about these templates is that they don't lock you into a rigid design. They're built with flexibility in mind, so you can adapt them to meet your organization's unique requirements. For instance, let's say you're using the IT help desk template, but your team has specific protocols for escalating issues to higher level support. With the pre-configured foundation in place, all you need to do is update the instructions to reflect your processes. You can even modify the agent's tone or behavior by adjusting its guidelines, such as specifying how formal or casual its responses should be. In just a few clicks, you can ensure that the agent matches your brand style and aligns with your internal workflows. Similarly, the built-in connectors included with templates can also be customized. These connectors are what make it possible for your agent to communicate directly with the systems that power your organization. For the HR template, you might want to link the agent to additional resources like an employee directory or payroll system to expand its capabilities. On the other hand, for the IT help desk, you might choose to integrate it with tools like Microsoft Teams or email automation to send updates or reminders about ticket statuses. This flexibility means that even though you're starting with a template, you can turn it into a highly personalized solution designed specifically for your organization. Let's walk through an example to see how this works in practice. Imagine you've decided to use the IT help desk template, but you work for a company with strict internal IT policies. First, you'd begin by customizing the instructions. You might add guidelines such as requiring the agent to respond with bulleted lists for troubleshooting steps and specifying that it redirects certain types of inquiries, like hardware repairs, to a live IT specialist. Then you'd adjust the connected data sources. Instead of linking it to a general ticketing system, you could connect it to a ServiceNow database with internal documentation, so the agent references the most up-to-date company policies. Finally, you might change its fallback behavior. If the agent can't find an answer to a query, it could automatically send email alerts to your IT team with all relevant details included. This level of customization is incredibly important because it ensures that your AI agent doesn't just save time, it also improves accuracy and effectiveness. You're not limited to what's included in the template. Instead, you're building on something reliable, which gives you more room to focus on fine-tuning the agent's capabilities. This is especially helpful when your organization has unique requirements or processes that a generic tool wouldn't cover. In addition to simplifying setup, templates are a great way to learn how to build more advanced AI agents. For new users, they serve as a foundation for understanding the functionality of Copilot Studio. By exploring the pre-configured instructions, connected sources, and possible workflows, you get a practical guide to how the platform works. You can take these lessons and apply them when creating agents from scratch in the future, making the templates a valuable tool for both immediate use and long-term learning. Another key benefit of using templates is how much time they save. Instead of spending hours configuring each individual piece of your agent, you can start from a ready-to-use base that's already been tested for common scenarios. You won't need to worry about missing key components or overlooking important steps during setup. Within minutes, you could have an agent up and running, ready to provide meaningful functionality to your organization. Even better, the time saved in initial setup can be reallocated to refining and expanding the agent's capabilities or addressing other priorities in your workflow. This time-saving potential becomes even more powerful when you think about scalability. For example, if your organization operates in multiple departments, you can use similar templates across a variety of applications. You might start with one HR agent focused on answering benefits questions, then expand by creating a second agent specifically for handling onboarding processes. Both agents can share a similar structure while still being tailored to function independently. This consistency can streamline adoption across your teams and make it easier for end users to engage with one agent after becoming familiar with another. Templates are designed to help you achieve results quickly, even if you're starting with no prior experience. Their ease of use, combined with the ability to customize them, is what makes Copilot Studio stand out as an accessible tool for everyone. Whether you're a small business owner looking to automate tasks or part of a larger organization ready to improve workflows, these pre-built templates can give you a head start on building functional, impactful AI agents. Once your agent is ready, where and how should you publish it? Let's find out. Publishing channels, reaching your audience. Where should you publish your AI agent to ensure it reaches the audience you're targeting? This is one of the most important decisions you'll make when finalizing your Copilot Studio project. Picking the right publishing channel can mean the difference between your agent being helpful and impactful or feeling hidden and underutilized. Copilot Studio provides several options for publishing your agent, and each one caters to different use cases, offering you the flexibility to match your agent's deployment to its specific purpose and audience. Let's start by understanding the main publishing channels Copilot Studio offers. There are 3 key categories to choose from: demo websites, custom websites, and messaging services. Each of these channels serves a different purpose. For example, if you're creating an agent for public-facing use, such as customer support, a demo, or custom website, may be the simplest and most effective way to reach your audience. On the other hand, if your agent is designed for internal use, such as assisting employees with technical support or HR queries, integration into a tool like Microsoft Teams may be a more appropriate approach. The demo website option is an accessible and straightforward way to get your agent up and running. This setup allows your agent to live on a simple, automatically created web page that users can access through a link. It's especially useful for situations where you want to test your agent, gather feedback, or make the tool immediately available for evaluation. For instance, a customer support agent could be published using the demo website channel, providing users with a quick and easy way to interact with the agent's capabilities. Since there's no complex setup required, this channel is one of the fastest options to implement. While the demo website is great for testing and early-stage deployment, it has its limitations. It's not meant to reflect your brand or offer advanced customization options. For a more polished and professional experience, Copilot Studio allows you to publish agents on custom websites. A custom website provides more control over the branding, design, and overall user experience. For example, a company creating an agent for external customer inquiries may want the platform to match its corporate identity using custom colors, logos, and domain names. In such cases, the custom website channel is a much better choice. While this option requires additional setup, the added flexibility can elevate the agent's impact by providing a seamless and professional interaction for users. Messaging services like Microsoft Teams offer another publishing option specifically geared toward internal use cases. If your organization relies heavily on Teams for communication and collaboration, embedding your agent into this platform ensures it becomes a natural part of the workflow. For example, imagine you've created an agent to assist employees with IT support. By publishing this agent on Teams, employees can simply open their chat window and type in queries such as, "How do I reset my password?" or "What's the status of my IT ticket?" Instead of navigating to a separate platform or app, they get the help they need directly within the workspace they already use daily. This not only makes the agent easier to access, but also helps increase adoption and usability. One critical consideration when publishing your agent is deciding whether authentication is necessary. Copilot Studio assumes that many agents will be deployed for internal use and therefore applies Microsoft Entra ID authentication by default. This means that users need to authenticate with their organizational credentials, ensuring that only authorized individuals can access the agent and the data it uses. For example, an HR agent connected to sensitive employee records would require authentication to prevent unauthorized users from viewing private information. This approach is especially important for use cases that involve secure or confidential data such as finance, IT, or legal information. On the other hand, if you're creating a public-facing agent, authentication isn't always necessary. For example, a customer support agent intended to assist external visitors shouldn't require them to log in before asking questions or receiving answers. In these scenarios, you can disable authentication by setting the agent to no authentication, enabling anyone to access and interact with it without barriers. This accessibility is crucial. If your goal is to provide open and easy access to information, consider a business that frequently receives customer inquiries about product availability or shipping times. A public-facing agent published on a demo or custom website with no authentication required can handle these inquiries efficiently. Customers can ask questions like, "What's your refund policy?" or "Where's my order?" without needing to create an account or enter credentials. By removing this friction, the agent becomes a helpful, user-friendly resource that improves the overall customer experience. It's also worth considering the relationship between the publishing channel and the agent's intended audience. The way you deploy your agent should align with how users are likely to interact with it. For instance, a help desk agent for a large organization might be best suited to teams where employees already communicate and handle day-to-day tasks. Meanwhile, a marketing-oriented agent designed to field inquiries from potential customers could live on a custom website that's embedded into your public-facing site. Matching the publishing channel to the agent's purpose not only enhances accessibility, but also ensures the agent meets user expectations and integrates smoothly into your workflows. Another example of choosing the right channel involves voice-assisted agents. While standard demo and custom websites are primarily text-based, deploying an agent on a voice-enabled platform like a smart assistant might be the most effective choice for certain industries. Imagine a healthcare organization that creates an AI agent to help patients schedule appointments. Publishing this agent on a voice-supported system would allow patients to interact with it hands-free, asking questions like, "When is my next appointment?" or "Do you have availability on Monday afternoon?" For users who may struggle with navigating websites or typing, this type of deployment creates a more accessible and user-friendly experience. Security remains a top priority for many organizations, especially when deploying agents for internal use. For instance, an agent handling financial workflows or sensitive employee data might be connected to multiple internal systems. Publishing the agent in a channel like Teams with authentication protocols enabled ensures that only verified users can interact with the agent or access confidential data. Even within an authenticated setting, Permissions on knowledge sources and actions will determine what the agent can retrieve and execute, adding additional layers of control. This ensures the balance between operational flexibility and data security. It's also helpful to think about scalability when choosing a publishing channel. For businesses or teams planning to expand their use of AI agents, selecting a channel that can handle multiple agents or scalable workflows is important. For instance, an organization might build several agents for different internal departments such as HR, IT, and finance. If all teams use Microsoft Teams as their main communication hub, publishing all agents through Teams can create a unified, accessible experience for employees. They'll know exactly where to go for assistance, regardless of the type of inquiry, which can reduce confusion and improve overall productivity across the organization. In addition to the primary publishing channels, Copilot Studio supports integrations with mobile apps and messaging services, providing even more flexibility in how your AI agent reaches its audience. Let's say your organization has a mobile app customers can download to manage their accounts or view orders. Publishing your agent within this app can make it easier for users to find the help they need without visiting your website or contacting support directly. Similarly, chat integrations such as WhatsApp may be appropriate for high-frequency interactions in industries like hospitality or e-commerce. These platforms enable real-time, mobile-friendly assistance that's convenient for users on the go. At the end of the day, the choice of publishing channel has a direct impact on how effectively your agent serves its purpose. Aligning the channel with the agent's audience and use case ensures that it not only reaches users but also integrates seamlessly into the systems or platforms they already use. Whether you deploy through a demo website, Teams, APIs, or custom integrations, the key is making the agent as accessible and functional as possible for its intended users. By now, you're equipped with the basics. Let's dive into some advanced features that make Copilot Studio even more powerful. Generative AI orchestration, smarter responses. How does Copilot Studio ensure that your AI agent can understand even the most complex questions? This is where the feature known as Generative AI orchestration comes into play. Currently in preview, this tool represents a major leap forward in AI agent capabilities. If you've ever used traditional AI tools, you may have noticed they often struggle with nuanced questions or complex queries. Instead of providing relevant or specific information, they frequently offer inconsistent or irrelevant answers. This limitation can be frustrating and significantly reduce the usefulness of an AI-powered solution. With generative AI orchestration, Copilot Studio addresses these challenges by incorporating advanced technologies like intent recognition and vector indexing. These tools equip your agent with the ability to understand user queries in a way that goes beyond surface-level keywords, enabling it to deliver more accurate and context-aware responses. Intent recognition is one of the core components of generative AI orchestration. It enhances your agent's ability to identify the true goal behind a user's question. For example, if a user asks, "How can I apply for medical leave?" the agent doesn't just parse the question for individual terms like apply or medical leave. Instead, it understands that the intent of the query is to obtain step-by-step instructions for starting a leave request. This level of insight is critical for delivering meaningful answers, especially when questions aren't phrased perfectly or include multiple layers of meaning. By identifying intent, the agent can focus on what the user actually needs and avoid misinterpreting the query. Vector indexing works alongside intent recognition to provide semantic understanding. Instead of relying solely on keywords, vector indexing assigns numerical values to words based on their meanings and relationships to other terms. This allows the agent to group related concepts together and recognize synonyms or alternate phrases automatically. For instance, if a user asks a healthcare agent about maternity leave, vector indexing ensures that the agent also understands related terms like parental leave or time off for new parents. This prevents the agent from missing important connections and enables it to provide more thorough responses. By grouping words with similar meanings, vector indexing allows the agent to grasp the context behind a question, even when it's phrased differently than expected. The combined effect of intent recognition and vector indexing is a system that doesn't just answer questions, but truly understands them. This is especially important in industries with complex workflows, like healthcare or finance. In these sectors, users often need precise, detailed information that can't be left up to interpretation. For example, consider a financial services agent designed to help users with questions about tax filing deadlines. Without generative AI orchestration, the agent might struggle to interpret a question like, "When do I need to file my taxes to avoid penalties this year?" It could provide a generic response or reference outdated information. With generative AI orchestration enabled, the agent recognizes the intent behind the question, connects it to the appropriate knowledge source, and provides an accurate, context-sensitive answer that includes up-to-date filing deadlines for the current year. This feature becomes even more critical when an agent has access to multiple knowledge sources. One of the key challenges in building AI agents is ensuring they know where to look for answers, especially when questions overlap across different datasets. Generative AI orchestration enables your agent to select the most relevant knowledge source for any given query. For example, imagine an agent designed to assist employees with both benefits and payroll questions. A question like, "How much will be deducted from my paycheck if I enroll in the health insurance plan?" involves concepts from both topics. Without orchestration, the agent might misidentify the relevant knowledge source and provide incomplete or inaccurate information. With orchestration, the agent analyzes the intent of the question and selects the exact data it needs from both benefits and payroll knowledge sources, delivering a comprehensive and accurate response. One of the main strengths of generative AI orchestration is its usefulness in scenarios involving complex or nuanced workflows. Let's look at the healthcare industry as an example. A hospital uses an AI agent to assist patients with scheduling appointments and understanding treatment plans. A typical query might be, "Can I reschedule my follow-up appointment for after my chemotherapy next week?" This question requires a deep understanding of both scheduling policies and treatment timelines. By leveraging intent recognition and vector indexing, the agent can identify the key elements of the question: rescheduling, follow-up appointments, and chemotherapy timing, and provide an accurate response. It might inform the patient about available time slots after their treatment and even suggest next steps for confirming the updated appointment. Without generative AI orchestration, the agent would likely struggle to parse the query correctly or default to generic answers unrelated to the user's actual concerns. The benefits of this technology also extend to internal use cases within complex organizations. Consider an IT help desk agent in a company with strict data access protocols. A question like, "What credentials do I need to access the finance database?" involves both user-specific information and company policies. Without semantic understanding, the agent might direct the user to a generic FAQ that doesn't fully resolve their issue. By enabling generative AI orchestration, the agent can analyze the query, match it to the appropriate knowledge source, and either provide the exact credentials needed or escalate the request to a human IT professional. Enabling generative AI orchestration in Copilot Studio is straightforward. The feature is easily toggled within the settings menu, making it an accessible upgrade for users of all skill levels. Even if you don't have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, activating orchestration can significantly improve your agent's ability to find answers within the connected knowledge sources. For users who opt to integrate a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, the effects of generative AI orchestration are even more pronounced. The agent gains access to enhanced vector indexing capabilities, which further refine its ability to understand and process user queries. This combination results in higher quality responses that not only address users' questions, but also anticipate additional details they may need. In practice, enabling generative AI orchestration produces an immediate uplift in response accuracy. For example, let's say you're using Copilot Studio to build an HR agent. Employees might ask questions like, "How do I update my tax forms before the next payroll cycle?" This query requires the agent to reference multiple pieces of information, including the procedure for updating tax forms and the timing of payroll deadlines. With generative AI orchestration, the agent understands that this question involves both policy details and time sensitivity. It combines information from the appropriate knowledge sources and delivers a clear, actionable response. To update your tax forms before the next payroll cycle, log into the HR portal and navigate to the tax forms section. Note that updates must be completed by the 15th of the month to take effect for this cycle. What makes generative AI orchestration especially powerful is its ability to handle queries that don't follow a predictable structure. Users don't always phrase their questions in the most efficient way, especially in industries like healthcare or legal services, where the terminology can be confusing. For example, a legal services agent might encounter questions like, "What happens if I miss the deadline to file my bankruptcy paperwork?" The phrasing here introduces multiple factors: timing, consequences, and legal procedures. Traditional AI might only pick up on keywords like deadline and bankruptcy. Generative AI orchestration, however, identifies the user's need to understand timing and consequences and selects relevant knowledge sources to explain both the filing deadlines and potential outcomes of missing them. Industries with complex workflows see the greatest gains from enabling this feature. In finance, for instance, clients often ask nuanced questions about investment strategies, tax implications, or compliance regulations. Traditional AI might struggle to provide detailed answers because these queries often involve layered meanings and specialized terminology. With generative AI orchestration, a financial advisor agent can piece together complex answers from multiple knowledge sources, ensuring clients receive accurate and comprehensive information. This is particularly critical in high-stakes industries where mistakes or inaccuracies can have significant consequences. In addition to improving response quality, generative AI orchestration also contributes to a better user experience overall. Users don't need to repeat themselves or rephrase questions to get the answers they need. For instance, if a user interacting with an HR agent asks, "How much vacation time do I have left this year?" the system instantly understands the intent, retrieving data on vacation accruals, and delivers the answer without requiring further clarification. This reduces time to resolution and makes interaction with the agent feel seamless and intuitive. Generative AI orchestration takes AI agent performance to an entirely new level. By combining advanced technologies like intent recognition and vector indexing, this feature enables agents to handle complex queries, access the most relevant information, and provide context-aware answers. Its ability to integrate multiple knowledge sources and deliver high-quality responses makes it invaluable for industries with specialized workflows, whether it's guiding patients through healthcare decisions or managing employee benefits in an HR system. Generative AI orchestration ensures that every interaction is meaningful and productive. Finally, let's talk about some common beginner mistakes and how to avoid them. Avoiding common beginner mistakes. Building your first AI agent in Copilot Studio can feel exciting, but it's easy for beginners to make simple mistakes that can undermine the effectiveness of the agent. These common missteps often lead to poorly performing agents, inaccurate responses, or even user frustration. Understanding these pitfalls ahead of time and knowing how to avoid them is key to creating an agent that works well and meets your expectations. One of the most frequent mistakes is failing to properly describe your knowledge sources. A knowledge source is where your agent retrieves its information, and it needs to be configured carefully to ensure accuracy. Poor descriptions can confuse the AI, leading it to provide irrelevant or incomplete answers. For example, when connecting a SharePoint site containing company policies, it's not enough to simply add the link. You need to provide a detailed description. A good description might say, "This site contains HR policies including benefits, vacation time, and payroll guidelines." This helps the AI understand the purpose of the source and its relevance to specific queries. Without this, the agent may not retrieve the right information, frustrating users who expect precise and accurate answers. Another common issue occurs when beginners attempt to use Excel spreadsheets as a knowledge source. Copilot Studio doesn't fully support Excel in the same way it does other data formats like PDFs or structured databases. Excel's lack of structured text makes it difficult for the AI to process the information accurately. The AI struggles to read rows and columns the way humans do, leading to incomplete or incorrect results. Instead of relying on Excel spreadsheets, it's better to use structured databases like Dataverse or integrate actions to retrieve specific data points dynamically. For example, Rather than uploading an Excel sheet of employee addresses, you could create an action that queries an employee database when needed. This ensures cleaner, more reliable outputs and saves you the trouble of trying to troubleshoot why certain data isn't returning the way you expect it to. Excel is particularly problematic when it comes to providing large chunks of unstructured data because it wasn't designed for AI reasoning over text. Actions, on the other hand, work dynamically to grab data based on user input, reducing errors dramatically. Relying on structured data not only improves the accuracy of your agent, but also reduces the likelihood of inconsistencies or delays caused by improperly formatted files. For example, say a user asks an HR agent, "Can I update my address for payroll?" An agent relying on Excel might fail to locate that data or provide outdated results. However, when using an action connected to the correct database, the agent can immediately locate the address field, walk the user through the update process, and ensure the correct information is saved. Additionally, beginners sometimes overlook the importance of allowing knowledge sources time to index before expecting accurate answers. When you add a new SharePoint site or upload documentation, the system doesn't immediately process the content. Indexing is the process through which the AI analyzes and categorizes the data, making it searchable and usable for your agent. Skipping this step or testing your agent too early can lead to issues like incomplete answers or the system missing information entirely. For instance, if you've just added a set of onboarding documents to a SharePoint site and immediately test your HR agent, it may not yet recognize the content or retrieve the appropriate responses. Allowing the indexing process to complete ensures that the knowledge source is fully understood by the AI, providing much better results. Another critical step when working with SharePoint or other structured data sources is disabling general knowledge for those use cases. When general knowledge is enabled, the AI has access to broad pre-trained data that isn't specific to your organization. At first, this might seem helpful, as it allows the agent to respond even when the data isn't available in its connected sources. However, the downside is significant. General knowledge can lead to inaccuracies, particularly in professional contexts where precise organization-specific answers are critical. Imagine an employee asking the HR agent, "What's the maternity leave policy at this company?" If general knowledge is enabled, the agent might provide a generic definition of maternity leave instead of referencing the company's policies. Disabling general knowledge ensures the AI relies exclusively on the provided data sources, making responses more consistent and relevant. Beyond these configuration mistakes, one of the most important yet often ignored steps is testing your agent thoroughly in different scenarios. Beginners sometimes assume that because the agent works well in one or two test cases, it's ready for deployment. However, testing with different query phrasings, scenarios, and edge cases is critical to fine-tuning the agent and ensuring it can handle real-world use. For example, a customer service agent might handle a question like, "Where's my order?" without issue. But what happens if a user asks, "I ordered something 2 weeks ago. Can you check the tracking info?" Testing these variations is essential to identify any gaps or inconsistencies in the agent's logic. Testing should also involve simulated user interactions that vary in structure and complexity. For example, if you're creating an IT support agent, ask it simple questions like, "How do I reset my password?" as well as multi-step queries like, "I forgot my password, but I don't remember my recovery email. What do I do?" This approach helps uncover situations where the agent may provide incomplete responses or fail altogether. Testing extensively and refining the agent based on results ensures a more reliable experience for end users. One best practice during this testing phase is to keep a checklist of potential pitfalls to address, which can streamline troubleshooting. Key items to include on this checklist are ensuring that all knowledge sources are properly described, confirming that actions are retrieving the correct data, and validating that the agent responds in the right tone and style based on its instructions. For instance, if the agent is designed to handle employee-facing queries, your checklist might also include ensuring that its responses are empathetic and conversational. By regularly reviewing this list, you can avoid overlooking problems that might impact the agent's performance. Another tip for beginners is to understand what your agent can and cannot do. A common misconception is that the AI will copy and paste sentences directly from your documents or provide page references from PDFs. That's not how the system works. Instead, the AI retrieves data from the knowledge sources and generates a synthesized response in its own words. For example, if an employee asks, "What's the company policy on remote work?" the AI won't lift a paragraph verbatim from your handbook. Instead, it will pull the relevant details and restate them in a summarized format. This means your documents should be clear, concise, and well organized, so the AI can interpret them effectively. Let's look at a real-world example of how fixing these mistakes can drastically improve an agent's performance. Suppose you've created an agent for an HR department to handle benefit-related questions. During initial testing, employees report that the agent often provides vague or outdated information when asked about healthcare plans. After reviewing the setup, you realize the SharePoint site connected as the knowledge source doesn't include a description, preventing the AI from understanding the exact nature of the content. Additionally, general knowledge was enabled, causing the agent to pull incorrect details from its base training data rather than referencing company-specific policies. By adding a detailed description to the SharePoint site, disabling general knowledge, and testing the agent with multiple phrasing variations, you can transform its responses. Employees now receive consistent, accurate answers, strengthening their trust in the tool and reducing the workload on HR staff. Avoiding beginner mistakes isn't just about fixing one-off issues, it's about creating a smooth and effective development process from start to finish. By identifying potential pitfalls early and following best practices, you'll spend less time troubleshooting and more time building useful agents that align with your goals. Carefully describing knowledge sources, avoiding problematic data formats like Excel, allowing time for indexing, disabling general knowledge, and thoroughly testing your agents are all necessary steps to ensure success. These practices not only improve your agent's performance, but also contribute to a better experience for anyone who interacts with it. Let's wrap this up with a final piece of advice for getting started with Copilot Studio. How to get started today. Getting started with Copilot Studio is simpler than you might think, but the first step can often feel overwhelming. With so many possibilities for what you can build, narrowing down your focus can be a challenge. The key is to begin small and manageable, especially if you're new to creating AI agents. By following a practical roadmap such as picking a use case, choosing a template, and defining clear instructions, you can confidently take that first step, knowing you're setting yourself up for success. The best way to start is by picking a specific use case. Ask yourself what task you want your AI agent to perform or what problem it's meant to solve. For example, do you want the agent to assist employees with IT support questions, help customers navigating your e-commerce site, or streamline HR processes for your organization? Defining the use case not only helps you focus your efforts, but also gives the agent a clear purpose, which is important for setting up its instructions and knowledge sources later on. A customer-facing agent might focus on answering questions like, "What's your refund policy?" while an internal HR agent could assist employees with onboarding or benefits-related queries. Starting with a well-defined use case not only makes the process easier, but also ensures your agent's output will be relevant and effective. Once you've chosen your use case, Copilot Studio allows you to streamline the creation process by using templates. Templates are pre-configured setups that are tailored for common scenarios, such as IT help desks, HR agents, or customer support assistants. These templates come with core components like connected data sources and a basic set of instructions already in place, which means you don't have to build everything from scratch. For example, an IT help desk template could include default actions such as resetting passwords or checking ticket statuses. From there, all you need to do is customize the template to match your organization's specific needs. This step not only saves time, but also lets you focus on the more creative aspects of building your agent instead of getting stuck on technical setup. The next step is defining clear instructions for your agent. Instructions act as the behavioral framework that guides how your agent interacts with users and handles requests. These are critical for ensuring your agent performs consistently, provides helpful responses, and stays aligned with your goals. For example, you can define the agent's tone, specifying whether it should communicate in a friendly and informal style or maintain a formal professional tone. In one tutorial, a user instructed their agent to act as a knowledgeable yet approachable customer service representative, ensuring both professionalism and accessibility. Another example might involve guiding the agent's fallback behavior, such as instructing it to say, "I don't have the information you're looking for, but I can escalate your request to a team member whenever it encounters a question it can't answer." By taking the time to detail these guardrails, you help your agent behave in ways that meet user expectations. When working on instructions, remember to tie them directly to your use case. If you're building a customer service agent, make sure its responses are customer-friendly and efficient. If it's an HR agent, ensure it understands privacy considerations and uses empathetic language for sensitive topics. For instance, an employee asking about medical leave might need more personalized and careful responses, which can be set through specific instructions in your agent's setup. The extra effort in creating clear, focused instructions will pay off by making your agent both dependable and user-friendly. It's important to start small when building your first agent. Many beginners get excited and try to create an agent that does everything. The problem with this approach is that it often results in a scattered or poorly functioning agent that can't excel at any specific task. Instead, focus on one clear, manageable goal, such as answering frequently asked questions about employee benefits. Once you've mastered the basics and gotten feedback, you can expand the agent's functionality to include new features or use cases. This approach not only builds confidence, but also lays the foundation for future improvements. Testing and iterating are essential parts of the process, especially for beginners. Once your agent is set up, test it extensively to make sure it works as intended. This involves running it through several realistic scenarios to ensure it responds accurately and consistently. For instance, if you've built an IT help desk agent, test it with basic questions like, how do I reset my password? As well as more nuanced queries like, I'm locked out of my account, but I don't remember my recovery email. What should I do? Testing allows you to identify gaps or issues such as incomplete responses or situations where the agent defaults to irrelevant answers. If that happens, you can adjust the instructions, improve knowledge source descriptions, or add new actions to address the problem. Iteration also applies to knowledge sources. If your agent struggles to find the right information, it might mean a knowledge source isn't properly set up. For example, one tutorial emphasized the importance of refining the descriptions of knowledge sources during troubleshooting to help the AI understand relevant topics. This iterative process ensures that your agent isn't just functional, but optimized to handle real-world interactions effectively. While it may require some trial and error, each adjustment brings you closer to building an agent that performs consistently and meets your expectations. Even if you make a few mistakes along the way, remember that these errors are learning opportunities. Many beginners are hesitant to experiment when building their first agent, but Copilot Studio is designed to be flexible and forgiving. If something doesn't work as planned, you can troubleshoot and fine-tune your setup without having to start over. For example, if you initially set up a fallback response but noticed through testing that it doesn't align with your organization's tone, you can go back and easily revise the instruction. This iterative approach not only makes the platform accessible to beginners, but also ensures continuous improvement of your agent. Hearing success stories can be a great motivation for getting started. One beginner shared their experience of using Copilot Studio to create an agent that supports customers selecting Microsoft Surface devices. They started by describing their intent in plain language, which helped the platform generate the foundational setup, including the agent name and its initial instructions. From there, they used the built-in tools to refine the agent and test it with sample queries. By starting with a small, focused project, they quickly achieved a functional agent that met their needs and could assist users in navigating product options effectively. Stories like this highlight how achievable it is to create a useful AI agent, even if you have no prior experience with similar tools. The Copilot Studio approach makes everything more approachable, breaking the process down into manageable steps, rather than overwhelming new users with technical jargon or complex setups. It's important to remember that your first agent doesn't need to be perfect. The goal is to get comfortable with the platform, understand how its components like templates, instructions, and actions work together, and build confidence in your ability to refine and improve the agent over time. With Copilot Studio, the power of AI isn't restricted to developers or tech experts. Anyone can create a customized functional agent to solve real problems or automate workflows. Whether you want to answer customer questions, assist employees, or streamline repetitive tasks, the platform provides all the tools you need to get started. And with each small success, you'll build the skills and confidence to tackle more complex projects, opening the door to even greater productivity and functionality. If you're ready to explore Copilot Studio, start with the link in the description. Copilot Studio simplifies AI agent creation, making it accessible to everyone. By using a low-code approach, anyone can build powerful agents tailored to their needs through natural language descriptions and intuitive templates. These agents aren't limited to answering questions. They can automate tasks, connect to systems, and deliver smarter, context-aware responses, transforming workflows in meaningful ways. What will you automate with your first agent? Start building today by experimenting with templates, customizing instructions, and testing your agent's capabilities. The skills learned now are valuable and future-proof for the growing integration of AI tools. The future of productivity is here, and it's in your hands.